Well, I think the people who want to stop gays doesn't know what gays are about and why people are gay. I don't think that it's bad. I mean, the prejudice or people who are against gay people or lesbian people, that they're not terrible, horrible people. That's just their opinion.
This is the first time I've ever talked about gay and lesbians in a group. I went to the Maynard School for 3 years, and nobody ever really talked about it, but a lot of people would call each other names and call each other gay, and everybody was really mean about it.
Who really cares if you're gay? It's like barely nobody knows in the world. It's like, what's the big whoop?
Most adults don't see why schools should teach young children about gay people, and they can't imagine how teachers could possibly present this subject matter in an age-appropriate way. This video explores some of the reasons why it is important for schools, starting with elementary-age children, to address lesbian and gay issues. And it shows some creative ways teachers are drawing from their students' own life experiences to include this subject in their classrooms and make school a safe place for learning for every child. From activities about stereotypes and current events to those about different kinds of families, growing numbers of educators are taking steps in their school communities to teach children respect for all.
Now I've got the word stereotypes up here on the board, and what I'd like to do is try to develop some kind of a cluster around it of various stereotypes that you've either heard or experienced yourself about either your own group or about different people. Raimond.
Some people think that all teenagers are drug dealers.
Okay, teenagers as drug dealers. Now, Raimond, let me ask you a question.
Okay.
Are some teenagers drug dealers?
Yeah.
Okay, and that's often the way a stereotype develops. Right there, it's like this little. Yeah, some teenagers are drug dealers, right? Or some people with baggy clothes stuff their pockets full of candy in the store, but then it's applied to the whole group, right? And that's what a stereotype does. Okay. Other stereotypes. Yeah.
Like with Latins, everybody thinks all of them eat beans and rice. That's not true. I mean, some of them do, right? But I mean, that's not all we eat.
Okay, Latinos eat beans and rice. Like, Crystal, what'd you have for dinner last night?
Last night, I had Filipino food.
Right, so you didn't have beans and rice. Okay. No. Keep in your mind this issue of stereotypes, and then try to think about it as you're thinking about lesbians and gay men. What I'd like you to do right now is take about 10 minutes, and I want you to write first what your attitude is, what you think your attitude right at this moment is about the whole issue of homosexuality. And the second thing is what you would most like to learn. And I want you to write at least, I don't want like 2 sentences. I don't think anything. I don't want to learn nothing, right? I don't want that. I want you to really try and write something, at least 1 paragraph, and hopefully 2. When I first started raising the issues in class, when I first started teaching, students would say, well, why are you so interested in this? You know, are you gay? And the implication was that that really the only people that could possibly be interested in this issue would be gay people. Like, I mean, why else would somebody even bother? I explained to them why, as a straight man, I would be interested in this issue. And I like to answer the question because I think that it pushes them to think about this as more than just a lesbian and gay matter. Okay, who's going to start?
Kelly's fine.
All right, Kelly, you want to start?
If they want to be gay, that's all right, because I just might try to talk them out of it. But if it doesn't work, that's their problem. There's nothing that I can much do.
Who's next? Jennifer.
Well, not sure. It's because I just found out about my aunt. I never knew until about a year ago. I thought she was a regular person. But when they told me, I didn't want to get next to her. I thought she was the most nastiest person. Now I'm okay with seeing her, but I still have a problem spending a night over her house.
Raimo.
Most of the time, I put gays and lesbians down. I know it's not right, but I do it anyway. I say things like, gay men molest children. But that's not true. Most of the time, I don't even know what I'm saying. I say it all out of ignorance. I should find out what's true first before even saying anything about gays and lesbians.
Okay, so this is a chance to educate yourselves in the sense of really getting an opportunity to engage on this issue. And you're going to have speakers tomorrow who are gay and who are willing to come and talk about their lives. And that's an opportunity, again, for you to ask questions that you really have about this. You walk out in the halls of this school, and the word of choice is faggot. And to me, there's, you know, I react the same way when I hear a girl called a bitch. You know, I think it's, you know, it shouldn't be tolerated in a school environment. But you can't just say stop. You have to educate about it, and if you don't educate about it, it won't stop.
Do you remember way at the beginning of the year, we talked about, I told you the word Indian, and I asked you to paint whatever came to mind when you heard that word. Do you remember that? Yeah. Same thing. What I want you to do when you go in just a minute and work in small groups, you're not going to be painting, okay? You're going to be writing down whatever comes to your mind when you hear the word gay or when you hear the word lesbian.
So nothing's right or wrong
There is
in
no
this
right.
either?
That's right. There's
All
no
right.
right or wrong answer. Yeah.
So the activity's about gay people and...
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I didn't know.
Okay?
About how many ideas should we come up with?
That's a good question. Try and come up with about 20, if you can. If you can't, you can't, but try. Yeah.
When I think of gay, I think of someone like a boy working funny, like a girl.
When I think of gay, I think of cross-dressing. Like a boy dressed up like a girl and a girl dressed up like a boy, but they both love each other. What? Sick. Yeah. It's so sick then.
Okay, write that down. He's thinking,
Put the pencils away. I have to see. You came up with a huge number of very different, very diverse words. But I'm curious about where you get your ideas from. Where do you get your information? Where do you get your thoughts? Where do you get your images from? Samira?
I get them mostly from TV and the news.
Like when you say TV, what do you mean?
Well, mostly the news, really, because my parents watched a lot.
Okay. Robbie?
I saw this movie called Jungle Fever, and I don't know if this is gay. I think it's another, I'm not sure. It's when it can be a black girl, a black boy, have a baby or girlfriend, boyfriend with a white boy or white girl.
So when people of two different races get involved?
Yeah.
Is that the same thing as being gay?
No, I don't think so.
No. What does it mean? Maybe we should have started with this. What does it mean
Gay?
to be, if someone says that they're gay, or they say, you know, someone else is gay, or someone is homosexual, what does that mean? Nikki, what does that mean?
It's like that they're in love with a boy
that a boy is in love with a boy or a girl's in love with a girl, or else they could be just teasing or something.
Okay.
People laugh when they think of people being gay.
You see people laughing where?
Like in, like, I don't know, like maybe in anywhere, like when they hear something, like someone is, like when they hear like about gay.
I mostly get it from my parents and my aunts and uncles because they're always talking about it, saying it's wrong and you shouldn't do it but I think it's just the way a person is. You can't really change it.
Okay. Victoria?
Well, I got them from talk shows.
Today on Ricky Lake, should parents ban gays?
Can you be gay one day, straight the next day?
It is a shock when your child says to you, I'm gay.
God hates fags.
God hates who?
Fags.
Kevin, you would actually disown your child if they were gay?
The Bible that I read, the Bible says homosexuals should be put to death.
I just flip through the channel and I hear them talking about it, and that's how I hear it.
Okay.
I got most of it from like Eddie Murphy movies, how he acts and stuff. That's why I said movie.
Yes. I'm looking for Victor Maitland. Tell him that Ramon went to the clinic today and I found out that I have herpes simplex 10.
10! You're alive! Yeah! I fell out of my shoe when I hit the floor. Fag.
Yeah, he was afraid you might be a homo. We already know you are.
I think your real daddy's probably some homo in California.
Bet your mom did it with a fag, and then you were born.
That's it. Einhorn is Finkel. Finkel is Einhorn. Einhorn is a man. Oh my God! Einhorn is a man.
In this movie called Vince Ventura, I'm not sure what it's called, but I know it's
Ventura.
Yeah, whatever. Okay, Ace Ventura. This guy, he kissed the football player. He didn't know that he was a man, so. Yeah,
Totally
that
saw
was
the man.
disgusting.
Totally saw the man.
Your gun's poking me. So it's not good. Why do they consider people that do that gay?
Why is that word used, or why is the word gay used to mean homosexuals?
I think because gay, one word meaning for gay is happy, and you know how like if you have someone you like and like they like you, you're usually happy. So I think that might be the reason.
So I heard this on the news once because I think a gay person, it was a boy, man walked into a bar and there was really strict people that really strict on gay people and he got beat up.
And do you think that was an okay thing to do or not?
No.
How did they find out?
Because that's how their life is. They're gay, so what? That's how the life is. I don't think people should be strict about them because if they were gay, they wouldn't want to be getting beat up or stuff.
Okay.
Can I go to the bathroom?
Yes, go. It became even clearer to me from the whole sort of thing that was going on with the discussion today that kids hear this information all the time, and what they're getting mostly is a lot of misinformation and a lot of stereotypes that are just being reinforced over and over and over again. And I think there's this sort of fear that when you're talking about gays and lesbians, you're talking about sex, and I don't think that's true. I mean, I think you're talking about a community, and you're talking about people relating to each other, and not specifically about sex. I don't think talking about gay and lesbian sex is appropriate with elementary school kids, and I don't think they'd really have any interest in hearing about it from their teacher. I think it would make them uncomfortable. But talking about people in different communities and biases and discrimination and how that affects people's lives, I think is appropriate.
We are at the Peabody School hosting a photo text exhibit entitled Love Makes a Family, Living in Lesbian and Gay Families. Lovely, lovely photos. And I believe that the Peabody School community is a very open and embracing and nurturing community. So I said, sure, we will have the exhibit. And it was an eye-opening experience for me. And one particular parent was particularly disturbed about the process. And then there were several parents who were disturbed about the topic. At one of the preliminary meetings that I had, a lesbian mom said, "You may lose your job over this. Do you want to go forward?" And I guess it's something I felt strongly about. And I'm not a flag bearer, but I felt strongly that the children in this community needed to be educated around this topic. Well, my 5th grade today came down to view the exhibit, and I think it was really an eye-opening experience for my 5th grade teacher that so many of the children have never discussed this at all. Those parents that were really in opposition, I have invited them to come during the day, to spend any portion of the day, to see what happens.
Rob and I have been together for 14 years. We really wanted kids, so we adopted Daniel, then Jessica, and finally Christopher.
I was curious as to why the exhibit was going to be here at our school. I thought maybe City Hall was a better place to have it. I mean, it seemed to be quite a tempest that was brewing, you know, one more thing that we didn't need. But just the way that it worked out, the way the kids responded here today, I think they responded very well to it.
I think that the exhibit that we saw should be shown to younger kids too, so they grow up knowing that lesbians and gays aren't bad.
I've taught here for 22 years, and I haven't really specifically done a lesson around gay and lesbians before. It did make me feel that they are ready for a lot more than I had given them credit for.
We're going to start today by hearing some guest speakers from an organization called CUOB. So I'd like to introduce Noe and Donna from CUOB. Let's give them a warm welcome.
Okay, I'm just going to say a few things about that we have to say before we start speaking. One of them is that we are not here to recruit you at all. I'm not here to try to get you to become gay or lesbian. We're just here to tell you about ourselves. So if you want to ask us any questions, that's why we're here. And so no question is a bad question.
We're both volunteers. We're not paid to do this. We come into classrooms and we speak to students like you. I've been to most high schools, junior highs here in the city. I was born in Puerto Rico. My dad's Mexican, so I'm half of each. My dad was a pastor in a Pentecostal church, so I grew up in the church, and very religious. And I came out when I was 17, and I'm now at State studying psychology.
I'm Donna, and I'm 24, and I grew up in Connecticut, actually. I'm an only child. I came out not until I was about 19 or 20. When I was your age, when I was in middle school and high school, I went out with boys, and I have some pictures I'll show you later of my prom date pictures. And it wasn't until I was in college that I started to realize that I was attracted to women. Now we're going to open it up, and you guys can ask us anything you want. Go.
Being gay, like, do one have to act like a woman, or like how does that go? I mean, I heard that like gay men keep the clean house and stuff like that.
How do you mostly find out that the other person is gay or a lesbian?
How does your parents feel about you being a lesbian?
Has anybody really like when you told them you were gay, they like just totally said, I don't want to be your friend anymore, and just left and never saw you again or something?
Is it true that a lot of gay men and lesbian women that sometimes they dress in tight leather and stuff, show their booty to attract men and women?
Like when young ladies have short hair like this, like they have to be a dyke or something. That's not really true though, right? Or do a lot of dykes do that?
I think it was you who said that when you were 12, like, you started to think about guys and everything like that. Did you feel, like, confused or something? Or, like, if you felt like if you had to kill yourself because you were like that or, like, something?
Is there, like, a reason why you're gay? Like, was you raped, like, was you a child, or, like, go through something that came out like you had to, you know.
You do have kids. How old would you want them to be before you tell them?
Like, if you had a choice to be like, start all over and be straight, would you rather be straight instead of being gay?
If your kids say that they want, when they grow up, they want to be gay like y'all, what would you say?
Do you guys get offended when people call you, like, when they call you names?
Yeah, especially if they mean it to be offensive, you know. And sometimes, like, I'll walk down the street and people like drive by and yell "dyke" out the window or something, and that's really upsetting. Like, I don't know those people. There's no need for them to do that to me.
And one thing, people don't get beat up because they're gay. They get beat up because they look gay.
How do you guys do it?
We are not allowed to talk about our personal sex lives by the Unified School District. We can't do that. And that's what we're here for anyway. I do want to say, though, that just like you might imagine, sex is not about a single act. There's a lot more involved to it. There's feelings. There's who the two people are, how they feel about each other. And there's two minds involved. A lot of times when parents or administration say there's going to be gay people coming to our school, they make it sound like our school is gay-free, and here come these people from this tribe that we don't know, and they're going to come in here, and this is taboo. But obviously I was a child at one point, and obviously I was in school, and I didn't have those role models. And so when I think about it, I think, no, you're not bringing something that's strange into the school. You're bringing someone to be a role model for people who are, there are gay students in this classroom.
28% of all gay teenagers drop out of high school, more than twice the national average. They're also more prone to abuse alcohol and drugs.
And 30% of all teen suicides are committed by kids trying to deal with their own homosexuality.
It's alarming. The amount of attempted suicide and suicides in teenagers who are gay and lesbian is astronomical, because they haven't been exposed to this education, but they are gay and lesbian. And this society is saying that's not okay, and that they aren't okay. So what do? They try to kill themselves. We're not taking care of our children in this country. We're telling you have to be a certain way. If you're not okay.
To what extent have there been changes in what you think? And also, have any stereotypes been broken? Yeah.
And I was like, they're gay? I mean, they look straight, just like other people here. They look straight. I was like, well, I guess, you could never really tell until you meet them and, tell them about you. You can never really tell.
Another stereotype is that some guys that hang around with girls, they'll think he's gay, but, he's not.
Yeah. I thought all gay people are like white. I mean, I feel bad saying it, but then that's what I thought, because mostly gay people I see are white, and then...
That's where I got it from, because mostly on talk shows, they mostly have white people on there that are gay. So that's what I actually thought. So then again, that kind of changed my little figure about it.
Not all gay people are looking for sexual experiences. Not all of them want to go hit on people, try to do all that stuff.
It should be mandatory, and I think that it's a healthy way of teaching students to respect each other, understand each other. Academics are definitely important, but we also want them to develop to reach an understanding that they can resolve crisis without becoming explosive. They need to understand it so they can move on to learning.
If the educational system doesn't deal with those issues early on, then there's bashing of gays in the streets.
William Kiley arrived in court still wearing a neck brace nearly 2 months after he was the victim of an alleged gay bashing. Central to proving the attack as a hate crime are the words Huff used. What was he calling you, Kiley was asked. He's calling me a faggot and a queer as he's pushing me on the shoulder. He's telling me, let's get it on.
In New York City, for example, such violence rose last year by 110%.
The numbers of gay men murdered are startling, but even more alarming. Most of those charged with the murders are teenagers.
They should have it in elementary school. They should have the beginning discussions much, much earlier.
Tomorrow,
Thursday is Gay and Lesbian Pride Day, which I believe is our 4th year at Cambridge Friends School. In our classrooms, from kindergarten through 8th grade, teachers will be talking about gay and lesbian issues. We really believe that there's God in every person, and those people include homosexuals too. We don't like controversy any more than anybody else. I'm a little worried about that, but not too much.
I want to start with you talking a little bit about what you're going to do tomorrow at Gay and Lesbian Pride Day, and to raise any issues that might have come up in the classroom.
I don't know. I guess for me, and I'm not trying to be decisive, and I don't know what to do about this, but as a school, are we saying that the kids have to support this? I mean, I guess that's what it sounds like to me, that we're saying if a child comes from a background that says that homosexuality is not correct, are we telling that child that they're supposed to, this is what you're supposed to do? I guess I keep getting that feeling that if a person is coming from that background, that we're supposed to tell them this is right. And I just feel like that child is going to...
I don't think we're saying that at all. But I think what we're saying is to respect other people's differences.
I totally hear what you're saying.
It's hard
But I want to make sure that it's there, that if they don't agree, that they too can be respected for that also. That's what I'm trying to say. I want to make sure that it's understood that if you choose not to, that's fine. I still want your respect as well. That's what I'm saying. That's a choice.
Not to what?
Not to agree with you.
Agree about what?
That homosexuality is right.
A little child in our class the other day said that when her grandmother came to visit, that the parents were explaining to the grandmother about what we were doing here at the school, and the grandmother was very upset and said, this is wrong, this is wrong. Kids shouldn't, the school should not do this, kids should not know about these things, this is just wrong. I don't remember exactly what I said, but I remember being caught in that bind of wanting her to maintain her thing for her grandmother. I'm not going to come between her and her grandmother. So I don't know. I think that's true and real and hard.
And I don't know if this works for you, but I think that we are asking kids to believe that this is right. Not as a matter of moral principle, but as a matter of, we're educating them, and this is part of what we consider to be a healthy education.
And I want to go back to the thing that Art said, which is that what we're trying to have people do is to understand that people are, and that we have to respect the right of all of us to just be, and be who we are. And we do that in the classroom when we teach so that everyone can learn. There isn't a right way, there isn't a wrong way, there isn't a good way, there isn't a bad way. The way that it is what it is. And it never is clean and neat and tidy and without some kind of conflict, because we don't all live all by ourselves.
Imagine if every time I went to play soccer, I had to hide my right shin. I might hide it like this. And then I'd try to play soccer. It wouldn't be easy, but I could do it. It would take a lot of energy to play soccer and also hide my leg. Well, at CFS, I don't have to hide. So I can play soccer with two legs. At CFS, I can tell the truth that I'm a gay man. And that gives me so much more energy to be a better teacher, to be a better co-worker, and to be a better friend. I'll see you on the soccer pitch.
Think about if you personally yourself have ever heard anybody using a word that would make a gay person feel bad or that you think would be really hurtful to a gay person. And think about how it made you feel. Anna?
My brother's friend, I don't think he knew what it meant, but he just said to my brother, "You're a faggot." And I didn't really know what it meant because I was young. But then my brother told me, and I felt really bad for the people that I knew that were gay, because there was somebody just down the, two people that lived down the road that were lesbians.
I've had a lot of experiences. At this school, a lot, like fag and faggot have been used.
At this school?
Yeah, and it's amazing how teachers, no offense, but it's amazing how teachers don't notice all the stuff that's going on, and even like, they don't necessarily use the word fag, but they say, "Oh, what are you, gay or something like that." And it's really, it makes you feel like weird in your stomach.
Okay, so great you brought that out. Julia?
Get to it, okay? The book is called Asha's Moms, or Mums, really.
Okay, we'll take comments and questions at the end of the story. Here we go. Asha's Moms. My class has been talking all week about the trip we're going to take to the Science Center.
Some of the children, like Terrence and Elsie, have already been there. My teacher, Miss Samuels, gave us a form to take home. Our parents had to fill it out and sign it so that we would have permission to go on the trip. I gave it back to her the next day. Just before break, she asked to see me. She wanted to know which of the names on the form was my mom's.
I said, both. It can't be both. You can't have two moms, she said briskly. But I do. My brother and I have two moms, I protested. Corrine and Judy were listening to me.
Take the form back home and have it properly filled out, said Miss Samuels. You can't go on the trip if it isn't. Now, if you were Asha, how do you think you would feel? Why is that, Jamila?
Because they said you didn't have two moms.
Because the teacher said you couldn't have two moms?
Isaac?
Well, her teacher probably didn't know, and she wasn't very open-minded or something. Maybe her teacher knew about having two moms and being lesbian, but she didn't like people like that.
Can you describe a little bit more what you meant by open-minded?
Well, if you're not very open-minded, it's you don't let's say there's a new kind of vegetable or something, and if you're not very open-minded, then you won't try it, because you're not you don't like to try new things and stuff. And if you are open-minded, then you would like to try it. And then if she wasn't very open-minded, then she wouldn't she'd be prejudiced.
The most challenging part has been, first of all, I'm Latina, specifically I'm Puerto Rican, first generation, so that my culture taught me that to be gay or lesbian was wrong. It was tabooed. And so I brought that with me because I don't stop being Puerto Rican when I enter this building. And here she is with her mom, one of her moms. And so I had to work really hard on that. I think that I'm a better teacher now because I know that in the classroom, I have to be here for all of my students. I have to affirm who they are. And for my children who are children of gay or lesbian families, I need to create an environment in which they feel comfortable to come in and talk about, last night we went out for pizza with my two moms. Or my two dads and I, we went out swimming. I need, because I know what it's like not to be affirmed in a classroom, because I was not as a child. You can't have two mommies, Judy insisted. Yes, she can, Rita said, turning around in her seat. Just like you have two aunts and two daddies and two grandmas, yelled Diane from across the room. Diane likes to yell.
So what happened here? When Rita turned around and said, yes, she can. What happened? Yeah.
Her friend stood up for her.
Her friend stood up for her. Daniela?
Do you believe I have two moms?
What'd she say?
Say that again. So,
Believe I have two
do I believe you have two moms? Yes, I do. But you're very happy to have your moms here today. Yeah, I can tell.
I think this looks like you, Margaret.
I already said that.
Yeah.
Look at me.
I don't think that it's appropriate that values only be taught at home. There are social values as well. There are community values. And when you allow a child on a playground to hurl an insult at another child, or to say your mom is queer, or to say those sorts of things without addressing the issues is, I think, unconscionable. What's the message the child gets? The child gets the message, my teachers would step in if it was wrong. My teachers would they know my teachers would do something. And what do you do with the child who declares later that they're gay or lesbian? They've sat through this whole educational experience where teachers have let this stuff go by to think, oh, I can't ever let that teacher know, because if that teacher knew, she or he would think less of me, because when Johnny Brewster said these things in 4th grade, it was okay. That's not okay, but I think we allow the other assumptions about gay and lesbian people to go all the time because we're uncomfortable with it. Kids know